Good Monday morning. Here's Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is September 25th, and this recording is from my own home office. I hope you find the quality okay. Let's kick it off with S&P 500 as usual. It has formed this. It's not the most perfect shoulder pattern, but nevertheless it has its kind of well, it is a shoulder like pattern really, but not the most beautiful one. Nevertheless, we had S&P 500 closing below 43.28 support here Friday. It's bouncing a little bit in early trading, but there should be a downside potential to around 4,200 here over the next couple of weeks. The RSI is showing negative sentiment, indicating lower levels. Nasdaq 100, more or less the same behavior or pattern unfolding. However, it did close just above, for a second straight day, just above support at 14,687, and it's still holding on a little bit, bouncing this morning very slightly. What is interesting, can it close this gap here? I'm not quite sure. But to reverse the downtrend, it needs to close above 15,560 level here. Negative RSI indicating likely lower levels. Dow Jones, which we are including at least for now, closed below minor support at 34,029, below the lower rising trend line here, likely to drop to support around 33,610. It's not the strong support, but nevertheless there's support, and we also have the 200 moving average, but the sentiment is also negative right there. Seng found some support here at 15,573. Seems like it's forming a kind of a double bottom. It's not confirmed yet, however. It needs to close above 18,900 to confirm that, so that's a bit away. But we have this bullish engulfing here, taking out the previous 2 days of bearish market. Almost also the 3 and the 4th previous days. So really a strong bounce there. But this morning we are a little bit lower. If it takes out 17,573 to the downside, and we can look at the weekly how it will look. It's then there's room down to around 17,000. Moving on to the European market, we have DAX that actually, and let's enlarge a little bit. We have DAX open Friday below key support, but bounced back above and trading just around the 200 moving average, trying again today, bouncing higher. So this is a really key support. If it takes out the low from Friday at 15,471, well, then there is it could be hit with a heavy sell-off down to around 15,000. AX 25 is the weakest of them all at the moment. It closed just bang on the 730 level or support level here Friday. Opened earlier this morning just below, but now it seems to be crawling back above here. So that's really a key support. However, we are in a confirmed downtrend on the AX, and there is room down to around 716, but it's still, buyers are still fighting to keep it up there a little bit, so keep an eye on that. But if it does take out the lows here from the past couple of days, then it could become fairly ugly. On the Belgian market, opened this morning below 36.32 support. But if it can close back above, then it's still in this range here up to 37.28 level. So I think we will see a range bound again here the next week or so between those two levels. Also, CAC 40 still holding on, bouncing from this lower rising trend line. Not that it is the strongest one, and the key one is still 7,082 that should be observed. But it is in a range bound trading, and I think it will remain so here for at least a week or so, something. But 7,082 is the one to look out for. Moving on to FX, we have the euro dollar still dancing around the 106.35. I still believe we will see a bit of a rebound from here. The downtrend is a little bit stretched. We have a little bit of divergence here on the RSI, so we should see a correction up to possibly around, I don't think we will reach 108, but around 107.60 maybe, around that level. Euro sterling trying to penetrate the 87 level, and I think it will happen here in the next couple of days. I feel fairly confident, but then it will have strong resistance at 87.35. However, don't rule out a little bit of a setback, but it has turned the tide and could move higher here after the descending triangle pattern breakout. Cable still lower, trying to buy into this morning, but there's room down to 121.75, very strong support. RSI is still showing negative sentiment, and there's no divergence, meaning we could see lower levels on cable here. So that's the key level. If it reaches 121.75, I will expect a correction. The dollar yen moving higher, reaching the 138.2 projection, and there is room up to 40, 149, 150, but it seems to be a little bit of a struggle. Also, we can see there's divergence on the RSI, so it's not that strong. An uptrend is fairly weak, to say the least. Euro yen still in this range here, so not much to talk about really. Aussie yen once again got rejected at the 95.85 resistance. I think we'll have another go, but we could short term be range bound between 94.5 and this 95, just below 96 here for the next couple of days. It really needs to close above 95.85 for further upside momentum. Sterling yen has turned bearish, but still holding on above key support at 180.2025 level, still in the cloud here. And the RSI is still struggling to keep itself above 40. So next couple of days could be decisive. I think we will see a little bit bounce up to the 55 moving average again, but we are short term in a downtrend. The dollar index more or less moving sideways in a fairly large range here. There is room up to strong resistance at 105.80, but it is very stretched. As you can see, we have divergence on the RSI, so it's really weak, and we could see a correction kicking in anytime soon. But again, remember, there is room up to 105.80, which is strong support. Resistance. If it does break below the 104.35. The low here on this candle here from the 20th of September, well, we can see a correction down to around 103.25, around that level. Moving on to gold spots, still in this range, and I think we'll see this range for between 1900 and 1950 for possibly another week, maybe two. It's really hard to predict the time frame here, but that's the level you should look out for, short term, 1900 and 1950. Silver bounced quite strongly last week. But is still caught in this range here around the 23.50 and up to around 24, and I see also silver to be range bound in this range here for at least a week or so. There is a battle going on between bulls and bears at the moment. Copper, on the other hand, downtrend on the short term, very strong support around 362 that should be observed. We could have another go here in the coming week. It is fairly negative. If we look at the weekly chart, Let's see how it's actually currently trading below the lower rising trend line here on the weekly chart. It dipped below and also last week, so we could see a move down to around 356. On the energy side, Brent crude oil, it actually formed this shooting star candle here, which is where you can see market shot up and then it got hammered down by sellers. So there is a little bit of momentum change, at least short term, and we could see a correction down. We should see a correction down to the 38 to retracement at 90.62. But buyers are really strong at the moment. However, there is also a no divergence on the RSI, so maybe this is just a small correction. I don't believe it to be a larger correction anyway, and we could move higher. There's still room up to around just below 199.56 that should be observed. Very strong resistance there. The WTI actually hit its resistance at 93.73, both on the weekly and the daily. There should be room down to, again, a little bit larger correction, but I don't expect it to be that big. So maybe we'll just see in the next couple of days going into this week, end of this week, possibly sideways trading. If it does close above 93.73, 74, 5 level here, well, then there is a room much higher. We can also see that on the weekly, it's actually testing the upper part of the cloud. So really key level there to look out for. Finally, on the yield side, we have US Treasury yields. Here's the 10-year reaching the 138.2 projection of the latest correction here. I still believe we will see a move up to around 455 there. I mean, there's room for it. There's no divergence on the RSI, and it is in a bullish sentiment. So I think we will move higher here in the next couple of days. There is some room for it at the moment, but it is slowing a little bit on the move. But 155, which is the 1681, the projection of this correction here that could be happen. All right, that's all for today. I do apologize about my voice. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so I hope you can forgive me. This was a little bit of a long one, but happy Monday and happy trading.